Okay, welcome to the Sutta study class. As you know, we are doing live stream today um, from Mississauga Temple. I inform you that this class is going to be held through live stream, and as you know, this is a good experience for all of us to see how this works in the future. So today, to begin the class, we go with the recitation. Um, today's class is going to be only a discussion. I don't know how to, go with the meditation part as we have been doing it with full of attention. But anyhow, let's begin the class with recitation. Namo Tassa. You don't need to request precepts today to begin the class. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Itipiso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති. Such indeed is the Sublime One, worthy, perfectly enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, well gone, knower of the worlds, supreme trainer of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and human, enlightened and exalted. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditthiko Akaliko Ehi Passiko Opanayiko Pacchattam Veditabbo Vinyohiti. Well expounded is the Dhamma by the Sublime One, directly visible, unaffected by time, calling one to come and see, leading onwards to be realized by the wise. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samici Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Pahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakhineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyaketang Lokasati. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing well. The order of the Sublime One's disciple is of upright conduct. The order of the Sublime One's disciples has entered the right path. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing correctly. That is, the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 kinds of individuals. This order of the Sublime One's disciples is worthy of offerings and hospitality, worthy of gifts and salutation, supreme fields of merits for the world. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, friends, that's the end of the recitation. And now we would like to begin today's discussion of the Anapanasati discourse. We are going to start the discussion from where we stopped last week. As you know, we have been spending 3 weeks to discuss the background of Anapanasati and what are the other factors that we need to consider of Anapanasati. So we have been discussing all of these important factors of Anapanasati throughout last 3 weeks. This week is the last week we spent for discussing the particular discourse, very important discourse Anapanasati. Today we are going to discuss the 32 or 16 stages of Anapanasati as you see on the screen. Actually, we covered those single steps, and when we make couple those 16 steps last week, but it is important to go through them again in order to understand how these Anapanasati stages uh, are going to develop a foundation of mindfulness and other respective spiritual qualities until one attains Nibbana. I think you can see on the screen these 16 or 32 stages of Anapanasati. The first one is breathing in long. He understand. I breathe in long. Breathing out long. He understand. I breathe out long. We discussed this part last week as well as the next part. The breathing in short, he understand. I breathe in short. Breathing in short, uh, breathing out short, he understand. I breathe out in short. So here we stressed last week that understand is important because at this stage, the meditator on Anapanasati truly consider what this breath is and how this breath happens. We discussed thoroughly that the meditator does not want to breathe purposely because it is a natural occurrence in our life, in our body, so it happens in its own way. What the meditator does in this meditation, just focus attention somewhere. The meditator easily can focus the breath and understand it. So you can see that happens in the first four stages. So he or she, whoever this meditation is being taken, understand the breath as it is. That's what happened in the four stages here. So after some time during the meditation, the meditator is able to switch his focus into a very uh, refined state. I would call that refined state because you have understood the breath, whether it is long or short, or in breath or out breath, thoroughly in order to experience something. That's why we call he trains thus I breathe in sensitive to the entire body. He trains thus I breathe out sensitive to the entire body. So at this stage, the meditator is very mindful about what breath is. Therefore, he is sensitive to his body. The commentaries say that the entire body is the breath body, which means both in breath and out breath, and some say that it is both the cycle of in breath and out breath as well as the physical body. In my point of view, it's okay to take both because you feel your body accurately, mindfully at this stage. So therefore, it is okay to say that you are mindful about your physical body as well. So at this stage, he trains. He trains something while he or she is becoming sensitive to the entire body. That is one important thing to consider. At this stage, your prominent focus is the both breath or the entire body, physical body. It means that your concentration, mindfulness, as well as wisdom has have been risen into certain extent. That's why training, the word training is there. In Pali, we used sikkati. Sikkati means you develop the morality, concentration, and wisdom. So morality, concentration, and wisdom are the three main pillars that all of us to develop to attain enlightenment. So when the meditator comes to this level of anapanasati meditation, he or she has to train his mind, which means by looking at the breath and by becoming sensitive to the breath as well as the body, he trained his mind in moral principles, concentration, and wisdom. So that part is there that he to understand. He trains thus. I breathe in calming down bodily formation or fabrication. He trains thus. I breathe out calming down bodily formation or fabrication. So little bit further, the meditator goes on in the anapanasati concentration. Now the meditator understands bodily formation in a philosophical sense. We know that the bodily formation is not anything else but the breath. So you at this stage realize that bodily formation, the breath, is conditioned by so many things such as the physical body, the heart, the lungs, as well as your four elements and the lifespan. Because of all these things, the breath is manifested. Otherwise, there is no breathing happens to a table, to a other any dead tree or anything else. So this physical body is conditioned by the breath, therefore it is called bodily formation. Now your mind is training slowly, firmly on these facts. That's what happened in the four stages when we couple single stages. So this, as we discussed last week, consists of the four foundation of mindfulness. Before going to discuss how anapanasati stages develop for foundation of mindfulness, I would like to go on to other steps as well. Um, when the meditator is training his mind with the breath, slowly it becomes calm and peaceful. After the four uh, stages or eight single stages, the meditator's attention goes on to a different facts, that is rapture. You can see on the screen that he trained his mind while breathing happens to understand rapture, the very feelings that his body, his mind has. So he trains thus I breathe in experiencing rapture. He trains thus I breathe out experiencing rapture. So rapture is a quality of mind which is arisen due to constant practice on breath. So in the earlier stages, you saw how you focus and what you focus. That's long in breath and out breath, short in breath and out breath. Then you become sensitive to both in breath and out breath. Then slowly you calm down this breath, which we call bodily fabrication. As a result of this strong constant practice, your mind relax. That's why you experience it, and we call it technically rapture. In a simple words, you are happy now because your body, your breath has calmed down into a certain extent. As a result, rapture has arisen in the mind, and you train it. You train your mind. It is important thing to know here is that what you train. In each steps it says you train thus, you train thus. What you trade is your mind, your mental states, and also the successive qualities in anapanasati. So that's need to be understood clearly. So here we experience rapture while in-breath and out-breath takes place. So the meditator continues the meditation because it's now at this stage. The meditation is so refreshing, entertaining, enjoying. You don't feel any pain, you don't feel any disturbances, and your mind is elated and you are so happy. That's why you are going forward. Rapture is not coming when there is pain. Rapture is not coming when there are disturbances. Rapture is not appearing in your mind if meditation doesn't work. On the other hand, rapture is there because you have done a great job. You go further. He trains thus, I breathe in experiencing pleasure. He trains thus, I breathe out experiencing pleasure. So, rapture is the quality of your mind, and then you realize that your mind is centered and concentrated and exists in a happy state. Then you feel it through your body as well. So you feel your body is so light, so uh, peaceful, no tight muscles and pain on the neck or on the hip or anywhere in the body, and it's just like uh, clouds that flows on the in the sky. It's so light. That's the simple word that we can explain. So you experience both rapture and pleasure at this stage, which means your prominent focus is both rapture and pleasure. So we call it Piti Sukha. Piti Sukha or rapture and pleasure are enlightenment factors as well. So now you are in a very good state where you experience jhana, samadhi. Let's go further on Anapanasati stages. He trains thus, I breathe in experiencing mental fabrication. He trains thus, I breathe out experiencing mental fabrication. So during in and out breathing, the meditator experience mental fabrication. We need to understand this as well. Mental fabrication are not anything else. The feeling and sensation you have now, what kind of feeling and sensation you have now is rapture and pleasure. So the mental fabrications are not anything else but the previous qualities you experience, namely rapture and pleasure. So you know them exactly as they are. So there is kind of knowledge arising right now. Of course, in previous stages too, this knowledge has been there, but you slowly go into details of the knowledge. That's why you recognize each of these mental states as they are. So now you experience those mental fabrication, which means you have a knowledge, you have a jnana. It means you slowly but firmly cultivating morality, concentration, and wisdom. In Pali, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. In the 8 stages, he trains thus, I breathe in, calming down mental fabrication. He trains thus, I breathe out, calming down mental fabrication. So when in and out breathing happens, what next the meditator takes into consideration is, of course, mental fabrication, but in that, the meditator does calming down them, which means the mental fabrication, both rapture and pleasure, as have their very initial stage and experience it thoroughly. Now, the meditator calms them down because there is enough enjoyment in it. From vipassana point of view, at this stage, the meditator, goes away from this mental fabrication. It doesn't say that the meditator, completely leave these things aside, but knowing the reality of rapture and pleasure, the meditator move forward to experience something. So next stage we have this said clearly, he trains thus I breathe in experiencing the mind. Earlier you had calming down the bodily mental fabrication, which means rapture and pleasure or feeling and sensation. Now the meditator realizes that these mental fabrications, rapture and pleasure, are mental state of the mind. So his prominent focus now slowly directing to the mind. So now, while in-breath and out-breath takes place in the background of his mind, he focuses the mind, experience the mind. So that's what happened in this stage. Let me tell you that this 9, 10, 11, 12 stages are consisting of the third foundation of mindfulness. So I will show you those slides one after the other, then you can realize how anapanasati stages are completing the four foundation of mindfulness. So we are in the third foundation of mindfulness. So we talk about the 10th stages. 10th stage, he trains thus I breathe in gladdening the mind. He trains thus I breathe out, gladdening the mind. So in and out breathing happens as usual, but his prominent focus is uh, gladdening the mind. Focus is there with the mind, but quality of mind is he make it happy, he make it joy. That's what happened. Imagine how wonderful this meditation is if you go from stages to stages with instruction. You can do it. Buddha did not tell that this is only for monks and nuns. It can be practiced by anybody else. So it's very scientific too, because um, from stage 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4, you can experience those stages. So do it every day, then you can feel it. The stages 11, in the stages of 11, the meditator understand the mind has concentrated. I breathe in concentrating the mind. I breathe out concentrating the mind. Samahitang chittang asasisami iti sikkati, pasasisami iti sikkati. While in-breath and out-breath is constantly happening, his mind is concentrated, and it is well aware of by the meditator. Now the next stage, I breathe in releasing the mind, I breathe out releasing the mind. It's a kind of point where the meditator move forward, because he feels that the mind has these previous three stages when in breath and out breath happens: experiencing the mind, gladdening the mind, concentrating the mind. So he has enough experiences to know what mind is, and he now releases his mind from this stage, which means he goes to the next stage. Look at the next stage. uh, it says that he trains thus I breathe in focusing on impermanence. He trains thus I breathe out focusing on impermanence. Now he moves from his mind, he moves his attention from mind to the impermanence of his mind. This is interesting, because a lot of people understand that the meditation on in and out breathing just to feel happy and relaxed, that's all. No, it is a channel that we use uh, to understand everything in our body and mind, everything in the world out of this body. So here it says clearly that I breathe in focusing on impermanence. Impermanence of what? Impermanence of the very breath, impermanence of the physical body, impermanence of each and every mental states we talk about previously, like rapture, pleasure, and bodily formation, mental formation, and concentration, gladdening, and all these mental and physical status are subject to impermanence. Now meditator experience that. how throughout the meditation session, from the very beginning to the uh, mental state he is having now, he sees or she sees that nothing is permanent through experience. So his focus or her focus now is the impermanence while breathing in and out, because it's a constant occurrence in our body, so it happens always. Nobody stop it and don't try to stop it. It happens always. What is important is through that breathing we want to see what is happening in the body and mind. Now the meditator found that the body and mind, everything, every other details, features of the body and mind are impermanent. That's very important. When the meditator experience the impermanence, another thing is happening there, that is dispassion. Dispassion, we talked about that last week. Dispassion is the opposing quality of passion. Passion is always going with greed or attachment, but dispassion is the opposite of it. When there is dispassion, the Pali word viraga, there is release from attachment. So the meditator, when he, after seeing the impermanence as it is, focus attention to dispassion when in and out breathing happens. So next, as I said, focus on cessation. Focus on cessation when breathing out and breathing in. So we have to address so many things here, but for the moment, this is enough to understand the state itself, that the meditator focus the cessation. When there is dispassion, there is no anything else but cessation. When you see impermanence of anything, even out of meditation, you don't want to attach to it. You don't want to keep it, because that is impermanence. When therefore dispassion is there, viraga is there. When there is viraga, you don't go to take it. You don't want to keep it. You don't attach to it. So that's what happened. When there is cessation, therefore there is relinquishment, which means patinisagga. I breathe in focusing on relinquishment. I breathe out focusing on relinquishment. Relinquishment is a big word, but simple meaning of it is that you completely go away from it. Letting go of is happening completely there. It starts when you realize that the theory of impermanence of your breath, of your feelings, sensation, but it completes that at this stage. So these are the 16 stages of Anapanasati. In it, you have 32 stages. That's the place where we stopped last week. I think this is enough as a summary of what we discussed last week. Now we are going to discuss how these 16 stages of Anapanasati develop the four foundation of mindfulness. That's what the sutta itself discuss. I would like to tell you how it explained in the discourse, and how bhikkhus does mindfulness of breathing develops and cultivated uh, fulfill the four foundation of mindfulness. That's the question Buddha put forward himself, and he's answering. Bhikkhus, on whatever occasion a bhikkhu breathing in long, understand I breathe in long, or breathing out long, understand I breathe out long. Breathing in short, understand I breathe in short, or breathing out short, understand I breathe out short. Train thus. I shall, go on like this. You can see on the screen that how these first four stages are explained. On that occasion, so when the meditator understand four stages as they are through his practice, at that moment, that particular bhikkhu or bhikkhuni or layperson who does meditation on anapanasati abide abides contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. I say that this is a certain body among the bodies, namely inbred, inbreathing and outbreathing. This is why on that occasion a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as a body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. So this is the statement made by the Buddha in the discourse. So what does it mean exactly is, uh, let me get the slide. So first four stages of Anapanasati can take the meditator into completion of the first foundation of foundation, because it talks about, look at, you can see that it talks about the breath, the features of the breath, long, short, and how it becomes sensitive and how it becomes calming down, and it's all about the breath as well as the body. So when a meditator is completing this part, Buddha says in that statement that he develops the mindfulness of the body, which means he or his or her attention is not anywhere else but focus the whole body. There is no way for you to ask questions. That's, I'm sorry about that, because that's how the this system is working. Um, Mindfulness of the body is the first foundation of foundation of mindfulness. The Pali word we use for mindfulness of the body is kayanupassana. So your attention is centered within the fathom long body, with the focus, the breath in such a way in the four stages of Anapanasati. So when the meditator is completing these four or single eight factors, eight ways of looking, he complete or she completes mindfulness of the body, as you can see, the first foundation of mindfulness. According to the discourse, let me get the discourse again. Uh, According to the discourse, bhikkhus, on whatever occasion a bhikkhu trains thus, those four, I shall breathe in, the Buddha talks about the other foundation. Whenever bhikkhu completes the first four, his mind goes to develop the first foundation of mindfulness. And kaya means, the body means here, in breathing and out breathing. So that's what we need to understand here. Uh, so whole physical body is fully aware by the meditator. As a result, uh, he has some knowledges now, like knowing the entire body, knowing the nature of the body itself, and also the breath. Therefore, as we discuss in fifth and sixth stages with rapture and pleasure, he is going to develop mindfulness factor of enlightenment. So simply say that, just forget about these technical words as well as philosophical way of explaining this. Let's think about in a simple way. When you watch your in-breath and out-breath, you feel your body, you feel uh, your breath without any problem. Like as a cycle of in-breath and out-breath, you feel that it's one and you feel it's so calming. At this moment, the meditator feel that this is so refreshing, and the happiness there is so important for this person. Therefore, his mindfulness become an enlightenment factor. This mindfulness factor of enlightenment is appear to the meditator uh, because of the development of his morality, concentration, and wisdom. I tell you that these words, train and understand, has a significant differences are there. When the meditator is aware of in-breath and out-breath exactly as it is, a kind of knowledge is arising there in his mind, that is knowledge about morality, concentration, and wisdom. That's why training is happening there. With this training, mindfulness factor of enlightenment become prominent, and the meditator realize that this is something that Nibbana gives me. Nibbana is coming to me because of this factor. So mindfulness factor of enlightenment is manifested there, and meditator is further investigating on it, because training makes the meditator be aware of become aware of other spiritual factor. When the mindfulness factor of enlightenment is clearly visible, the meditator, if he or she further investigates on it, another factor of enlightenment is arising, that is investigation. Investigation factor of enlightenment is called in eightfold path as samadhi, right understanding. So mindfulness factor of enlightenment, investigation factor of enlightenment are developing together, but you feel it as secondly, because mindfulness should be there to realize what investigation factor is. With the support of investigation factor of mindfulness, you strengthen mindfulness factor of enlightenment. Similarly, at the same time, there is another factor developed there, that is perseverance factor of enlightenment. Um, then with these three, the other qualities are being developed into a greater extent. Let me tell you something out of the discourse. In Mahachattarisaka Sutta, the 100, as I remember, 16 of Majjhima Nikaya, there is a sutta called Great 40. In that discourse, Buddha says that mindfulness, investigation, perseverance, and from other words, samadhi, right understanding, right effort, and right mindfulness um, come together to develop all the spiritual qualities. Therefore, these three factors are prominent, important qualities for someone to get enlightenment. So, in this level of Anapanasati meditation, the meditator understands these three factors of enlightenment as they are, and know how powerful they are to gain the other spiritual qualities in the Anapanasati. Soon after completing these three factors, not fully but into certain extent, rapture factor of enlightenment arises. Rapture factor, because we talk about this rapture factor in Anapanasati stages, not in this list, but in fifth and sixth stages. But through this practice, you can cross over to the other stages of Anapanasati as well. Let me repeat that again. Um, it is enough for a meditator to begin his long practice of experiencing all these spiritual qualities from breathing in long, breathing out, and understanding these, because you are there, breathing in long, breathing out long happens, and you understand it. That there you have mental faculties, there you have feelings, perception, and other spiritual qualities. So in order to explain the stages, Buddha explain one after the other, but when it is being practiced, it comes together. So in these four stages, you can cross over Anapana to the four foundation of mindfulness, then to the seven factors of enlightenment. So mindfulness of the body, uh, as soon as it's complete, it cultivates the seven factors of enlightenment. We have been discussing so far only four. Because of these three, rapture is coming. Then when there is rapture, you feel tranquility factor. Tranquility is a very good quality that we all should experience. For instance, a situation like this could be a tranquility moment. Suppose that a baby uh, is on the cradle, and you swing the cradle from this side to that side. So suppose that you were in a cradle and somebody is swing from this side to that side. So what you feel is so relaxed and a kind of a strange feeling coming and going in the body. So similarly, when there is tranquility, you feel a refreshing body. Let me bring you another examples to realize what tranquility is. Suppose that you work so hard and you are tired, and your body, your clothes get wet, and now you come home and have a bath. As soon as you have a bath, you eat some delicious food and drink enough water and finish that and come to the veranda where you can sit down comfortably in a big uh, chair, and you experience a kind of peace and happiness of the body and mind. That state of physical and mental uh, relaxation is quite similar to tranquility factor of enlightenment. It's on the what I gave you is an only is an example, but tranquility factor of the for seven factors of enlightenment is something like this. When the meditator experiences tranquility, it creates concentration. Without that physical and mental relaxation, samadhi is not coming. Samadhi is one pointedness. Samadhi is in that state your mind is not bothered by anything. Whether you lose your belongings, whether you are praised by somebody else, whether you are scolded at, you are undisturbed by or anything of these, because your mind is concentrated. It means your mind stays in peace and happiness. Concentration factor of enlightenment slowly support the last factor of seven factors of enlightenment, equanimity. Equanimity is mostly wisdom. Equanimity or equilibrium of the mind is coming out of all these factors, starting from mindfulness, investigation, perseverance, rapture, tranquility, and concentration. So you can see how each of the seven factors of mindfulness support each other to get the other next one. So that's how these seven factors of enlightenment are developed by the contemplation on the body, by the mindfulness of the body. As said in the discourse, when the seven factors of enlightenment are developed into a greater extent, two qualities are being manifested by the meditator. From another words, when the meditator realizes that mindfulness is strong, therefore investigation is there. Without investigation, mindfulness is not there. Mindfulness is there into certain level, but it does not become an enlightenment factor without the clear investigation, without the quality of investigation. The quality of investigation is not there without perseverance. Let me explain you this again. um, In order to become mindful about cooking, in order to become mindful about cleaning the house, and pay particular attention to particular thing we do, we should have some wisdom, we should have some knowledge. So in the factor of investigation, we have it. So if you do not have any energy in it, how can investigation and also mindfulness stand there? So in order to pay attention to a particular thing, we should have wisdom and also we should have some effort. That's how the three seven factors of enlightenment come together. As a result of that, there is rapture. Suppose that you become mindful and after thinking wisely, and you put your effort into that and you clean the house. After cleaning the house, there is a happiness, there is a pleasure because you did it. You did it with right intention. You did it with happiness. You did it with wisdom. So rapture is there after, and of course with the rapture, and you have tranquilized mind. Your mind is so calm and peaceful. At the same time, concentration is there. You can focus on your studies, and then you can focus your mind to something you want without any disturbance. That's samadhi. So at some point you feel that anything happened to you, anything happened to this clean area would not be a suffering to you. So I was trying to explain you the seven factors of enlightenment with a simple uh, example. But the real factors of enlightenment when they develop in anapanasati is so profound and also deep. That's why Buddha says in the discourse that there are two important qualities appear in the meditator's mind. I want to tell you that by meditating on anapanasati for an hour or so, you cannot have it. If it is coming, it's strange as well as very interesting. Those who have been doing meditation for many years, many lifetime could get it, but for someone who meditates only for the first time, I don't think that they can experience the anapanasati into this level. But you may realize that how these things happen, and perhaps you can experience it in your daily meditation. Okay, now let's come to this slide now. So, by culminating the seven factors of enlightenment, you will have a great knowledge about these seven factors of enlightenment. The knowledge about each factor of enlightenment individually as well as collectively. So knowledge about impermanence. I want to tell you that at this stage, the meditator has gone beyond the theory of impermanence and suffering because he has done that exercise during this period. Though it is coming in the last stages of anapanasati, he or she has somehow experienced that during these first foundation of mindfulness as well as seven factors of enlightenment, because there is the factor of investigation as well as equanimity. When you have the faculty of investigation in your concentration, what does you investigate? Whether whether this is permanent, whether this is impermanent, whether this is happy, whether this is giving us suffering, and that investigation is there. Therefore, the meditator, of course, touches those level of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. That's why knowledge is completing there. Simply, the knowledge is coming because of the completion of the seven factors of enlightenment. With the knowledge, there is release or vimukti, liberation is there. When there is knowledge that this is impermanent, this is suffering, and when this is impermanence, there couldn't be any permanent entity in that. So you want to release from there. You do not want to attach to it. You do not want to get it. You do not want to crave for that. So release is happening there. There is a knowledge, again I'm saying it again, there is a knowledge that this computer and this table, this lamp, this building is subject to impermanence. It never exists in that form, and it's going to change. So when you realize something you attracted is going to change, I don't believe that anybody is going to take it as my own, and this is mine, this is me, and so on. Because no, there is no point to do that. So knowledge is there that this is impermanent. Then he or she wants to go away from that. That's what happened here. When you develop the 7 factors of enlightenment together with the support of for foundation of mindfulness, there is knowledge and release. With the completion of knowledge, there is the most important thing the meditator needs to, absorb or experience, that is nibbana. So nibbana is not anything else but the absence of greed, hatred, and ignorance, absence of difficult thoughts, absence of unwholesome thought. Look at the map the Buddha explained, from mundane world to supramundane, or look at the directions Buddha discover from typical lifestyles to a supreme lifestyle. So you can see in the screen that when the breathing meditation takes place from the very beginning, if it is developed truly in accordance with the practice, it brings you so many good results. Like, what those results are not anything else but mental discipline. So when I look at the overall map here, I can see how the morality is being developed by the meditator, and the factor of concentration, or the aggregate of concentration, is being developed by the meditator, and finally the wisdom aggregate is being developed by the meditator, culminating knowledge and release, and nibbana. So this is exactly what the Buddha explained in Anapanasati Sutta. We can understand this if we go to the second tetra. This is the first tetra. In the first tetra, we have 8 single stages of Anapanasati, and also 4 couples stages of Anapanasati. Altogether, there are 8 or 4. In the first tetra, we focus to develop mindfulness of the body, and through that we develop the 7 factors of enlightenment, and developing these 7 completes knowledge and release, and that's nibbana. Let's go to the second tetra. This is the second tetra. We discussed that rapture, pleasure, experiencing mental fabrications, and calming down mental fabrication happens there. Let's take a few seconds to recall what we discussed there. Our prominent focus is not anything else but the rapture, pleasure, mental fabrication in this category. Sometimes this may be strange for you, but it is the truth in Anapanasati. We do not hang on to breath. Though it is called Anapanasati meditation, we do not hang on to it during the meditation. We use it as a raft. You remember the simile of raft in Alagadupama Sutta? It says that we use the raft just to cross over the river to go to the other shore. After crossing over, we do not carry it on our shoulder. and go wherever we go. We leave it in the shore and we go our journey. Similarly, we use the breath in Anapanasati meditation to calm down our mind, to relax our body, to bring our wandering mind into focus. So, in the first tetra, or in the first 4 stages or 8 stages, we did that. We were able to bring our wandering mind into focus. When it comes to a particular focus, our mind and body give results. What are the results body and mind themselves bring forward? Rapture, pleasure, and experiencing mental fabrication and calming down mental fabrication. These are the prominent qualities our mind associates now. Therefore, we call these stages, or this second tetra is developing the second foundation of mindfulness, uh, basically, that is mindfulness of feeling. The Pali word is Vedananupassana. So, Vedananupassana, or the mindfulness of feelings, is developed as a result of uh, eh, development of these 4 stages. So, when the meditator realizes that this is nothing but the mindfulness of feelings, uh, he saw her mind is focusing the mindfulness factor of enlightenment. Again, as similar to the previous slide, that develops 7 factors of enlightenment through the support of mindfulness of the body. Here, same thing happens when mindfulness of feelings are, aware. The meditator develop that particular mindfulness as an enlightenment factor. I assume that you have a question why the same mindfulness is being repeated. Here you can see mindfulness of feeling. Here you can see mindfulness factor of enlightenment. Yes, there is a difference. Here you understand feeling as they are, like pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neutral feeling, and so on. But at this stage, when it becomes an enlightenment factor of mindfulness, you complete that observation with the support of wisdom and other factors, and it clearly gives an idea that it brings release, knowledge, and nibbana. That's how it becomes enlightenment factor. So similarly, you develop investigation factor of enlightenment, then perseverance factor of enlightenment. Of course, when you come to mindfulness of feelings, you have all these faculties develop simultaneously, but the meditator needs to understand them individually as well as together. Meditator is required to understand those factors of enlightenment individually as well as together. That's knowledge should be there. So, as said in the beginning, in the first foundation of mindfulness, we have these factors of enlightenment appear in the mind, appear in the knowledge. So, again, completion of the 7 factors of enlightenment here brings you knowledge and liberation or release, and there is nibbana. So now you develop the second um, foundation of mindfulness, and it directs to develop the first 7 factors of enlightenment and brings the results. So let's go to the third tetra. He trains thus I breathe in experience in the mind. It also does the same thing. This is the third tetra of Anapanasati, and it mainly focuses the mindfulness of mind. I don't know whether you can see this small arrow, and in it I have written mindfulness of the mind. So it means the third foundation of mindfulness, Chittanupassana. Chittanupassana is being developed in Anapanasati when the meditator focuses his mind. And then, similar to the other foundations, you can develop mindfulness factor of enlightenment, mindfulness factor of enlightenment, investigation factor of enlightenment, perseverance factor of enlightenment, and rapture factor of enlightenment. Next, tranquility factor of enlightenment, then concentration factor of enlightenment, finally equanimity factor of enlightenment. So when the meditator is aware of his or her mind, which is concentrated, um, there is an ability to clearly seeing these mindfulness, investigation, perseverance, rapture, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity, one after the other, and they become a force. They become a power together to develop knowledge and release, where Nibbana is complete, come to an end, come to accomplishment, come to a complete practice. So this is Chittanupassana, or the third foundation of mindfulness. Buddha in Anapanasati discourse clearly explained that the fourth tetra, which means the fourth foundation of mindfulness, is also important, because in this factor, impermanence, dispassion, cessation, relinquishment are not anything else but mental state, or the thoughts. So impermanence is an idea. For example, we say that this car is subject to impermanence. So the car becomes old slowly, and the parts of the car could not be used anymore, so it has its own nature. But understanding the car is becoming old and the parts are going to unusable are ideas, opinions, or seeing the external thing from your senses, you decide it, so that's idea. So this is impermanent is an idea. So it is, ideas are always in the mind. So earlier we talked about Chittanupassana, mindfulness of the mind. So it's mind, and whatever mind produce are called thought, idea. So impermanent is an idea which is positive. It doesn't come automatically, but through wisdom we can see it. So mindfulness of Dhamma, therefore, is coming here as the foundation of mindfulness. So when the meditator develops the last 8 stages, single stages of Anapanasati, he or she develops the mindfulness of Dhamma, mindfulness of phenomena. As a completion of mindfulness of Dhamma, he or she develops the same 7 factors of enlightenment, namely mindfulness, investigation, perseverance, rapture, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. As you know, completion of these 7 factors of enlightenment brings you the results, that is release and knowledge and release. When the knowledge and release are there, there is Nibbana. This is how Buddha explained the Anapanasati with its fullest results in this discourse. There is no other discourse that has complete account of Anapanasati like this. Therefore, this Anapanasati discourse is so important. Unfortunately, I cannot receive your questions right now. I cannot hear you, but you can hear me well. So you can write down questions if you have, and send it to me for answers if you have any, if you need any clarification. If you had any difficult point to understand, please note them down and send it to me. I try my best to answer these questions. Having said that, I would like to show you how this meditation uh, progress with stages. We technically understand the 32 single stages of anapanasati and 16 stages of anapanasati, and we divided these 16 stages into 4 tetra. Then we see how each tetra develop one foundation of mindfulness mainly, and how other 3 foundations hiddenly develop in that foundation. Then they develop the 7 factors of enlightenment, culminating knowledge and vision and nibbana. But still there are certain things to understand. Let me bring you into that level by explaining progressive stages of anapanasati. I think you can see the slide now. The Here we do a kind of meditation on basic breath. You can remember the 4 uh, stages of anapanasati meditation. First, long in-breath, long out-breath, short in-breath, short out-breath. Then sensitive to entire body when in-breath and out-breath happens. Then while in-breath and out-breath takes place, you calm down the bodily fabrication. Those are the basic meditation. So in that first tetra, the progress happen, and we are in basic breath meditation. So next progressive stage of anapanasati is the breath meditation as satipatthana, right? In the first 8 single stages and 4 main stages over in the first tetra, we develop the breath meditation. By complete practice of that breath meditation take us to establishing mindfulness on satipatthana. So in the second, third and fourth tetra, we develop mainly foundation of the feelings, foundation of mind, foundation of dhamma. Let me tell you again. When you practice first tetra, second tetra, third tetra and fourth tetra, you develop satipatthana, establishing mindfulness on 4 foundation of mindfulness. Anapana means in breath and out breath. By focusing in breath and out breath, at the end we develop the 4 foundation of mindfulness. That is the second progressive stage of anapanasati. Third progressive stage of anapanasati is applying satipatthana to the awakening factors. That's what we discussed with the 7 factors of enlightenment. So we apply that satipatthana to develop awakening factors. That's what the meditator does there when he or she comes to one particular foundation of mindfulness. So that's the third stages of anapanasati. There is a fourth stages as well. That's the attainment of true knowledge and liberation. The fourth stage of anapanasati is to bring the meditator's focus is to complete the knowledge and liberation. You do not want to worry about gaining these stages of anapanasati with so much effort, because if you do the previous one, the successive stage is coming automatically. Let me repeat that again. If you do the basic breath meditation exactly as the discourse says, you do not want to worry about the second stage. It comes as a result. With the completion of the second stage, the third comes as a result, and consequently the fourth one, liberation, knowledge and liberation. The final progressive stage of anapanasati is nibbana. So if you come to this level, nibbana, you are near the door of nibbana, and you can feel it and you complete it. So those are the progressive stage of anapanasati. That's what we discuss in the whole stages of Anapanasati. Um, Now I would like to move on to the practical way of Anapanasati. The discourse is saying something like we had now, but it may not be easy for us to cultivate it exactly how discourse explains. So we need to look at how it's been developed in daily practices. So you can see how people should start meditation. I have added here two pictures. One is with the sitting posture, and the other one sitting, of course, a sitting posture but on a chair. So you can see how the body is straight, focused. So scan the body for being in the present moment. The first thing you need to do in Anapanasati meditation is being aware uh, uh, of the posture. You need to be aware of the posture, not from front side, but every directions, back and side, and just like somebody else is looking at your body from each side, you yourself do it for a better understanding of the posture. Having done that, um, having done that bodily scanning, mindfulness practice on in and out breathing should be started. Um, I have uh, uh, broken this practice into four sections. In the first section, we apply a counting method. Why do I explain this counting method here? Because it is easy for many people to do. If you do not have such practice and feel that it is not familiar to me, it's up to you to forget it. But as an explanation, I would like to tell that the counting method is famous in today's world. I have seen that many teachers use this method with beginners to Anapanasati meditation, of course, beginners to any type of meditation. So I would like to tell it to you exactly how it happens. It is up to you to decide whether I follow this method or just usual method. It's fine if the results of Anapanasati comes, no matter what method you use. The important thing is good result. First, bring your attention to the focus on the breath. First thing, of course, you need to bring your attention to the breath. When you focus it, leave it happen naturally. We have explained this before, but I'm repeating. Leave it happen naturally. Then, because if you tie it and if you really focus it, you don't know your muscles of the jaw, of the whole body become tight because that happens naturally. So leave it uh, to happen naturally and feel that the breath as it is. So now start counting. Breathe in, breathe out, count one. Breathe in, breathe out, count two. Breathe in, breathe out, count three. Continue this counting until you go to number 10, and when you go to number 10, come down, not from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, but 10 to 9, 9 to 8, 8 to 7, and ascending and descending order. Let me explain you this again. You breathe in, breathe out 1, breathe in, breathe out 2, but this is not an intentional breathing because it is a natural process, and leave it happen naturally, gentle way. And whenever breathing in breath and out breath ends one cycle, just count 1. So we go to 10, and when next time you breathe in, breathe out, count 9, so you come down. It is said in the commentaries, of course, latest commentaries, because this method has been explained very late, in 21st century. So um, when you feel that, you count from 1 to 10, and 10 to 1 again without any break of attention, it's a sign of concentration. It's a sign of, uh, you know, the mind has stopped wandering into memories, into objects, and so on, because your counting uh, does not break. Your counting was undisturbed. But if something happened to your counting, sometime, a lot of people say that we cannot count up to 5 because our attention breaks. Of course, it happens. You feel that counting does not work, and a lot of people struggle, though it is from 1 to 10 and 10 to 1 back. Seems simple, but it does not happen, because you should go with in breath and out breath, in breath and out breath. However, if you break your attention and forget about counting somewhere in the middle, just start from 1 again. Do not start from where you stop. Of course, you cannot remember where you stop when you forget it. So come down to 1 again and start counting in breath and out breath again. But need to be careful that counting is not the prominent focus of this method. Sometimes people mistakenly take it that counting is the most important factor. No, counting is a supportive uh, factor for us to gain concentration, but the breath is the prominent focus here. I think that's enough to begin counting method. Then in the second section of counting method, we slightly change the focus. It seems similar to the previous section 1, but with subtle changes in emphasis. This time we count before the in-breath. Earlier we count after the breath. Let me bring your attention again. Breathe in, breathe out, 1. Breathe in, breathe out, 2. That's what we did in the first section. Now we change the emphasis before, or we change counting at the end of the breath, in breath and out breath, from to the beginning. So now we count 1 and breathe in, breathe out. When the natural in breath and out breath happens, leave it happens, but in the second stage your counting is coming before that. That's what happened in the second stage. You can see in that in the PowerPoint. Count 1, breathe in, breathe out. Count 2, breathe in, breathe out. 3, breathe in, breathe out. Continue this up to 10 and come down to 9, 8, and so on. If you break your attention and forget counting, just come to 1 again and start again. That's the second stage. In the third stage section, we drop the counting. So in the first and second section, we use the counting method with changing emphasis on it. But now in section 3, we drop the counting method. We don't do the counting method, but stay with the breath as it moves. Like as I know, this section 3 is somewhere in the third and fourth stages of Anapanasati. In the third and fourth stages of Anapanasati, we encounter that we are sensitive to entire body, and we calm down the bodily fabrication. It is exactly same thing happens here. We stop counting because we are mindful about in-breath and out-breath. In order to become mindful of in-breath and out-breath, we use the counting, and when it is happened, we don't need the counting anymore. Now we are mindful. So we stop counting, but be mindful about the breath. It's and exactly as it is. So ensuring that we are breathing in a regular, unforced way, again we see the in-breath and out-breath. It's another level of increased mindfulness. So that's what happened in the section 3. In the section 4, what we do is continue that attention to in-breath and out-breath. Let me read you this statement. In this section, our attention continues to focus on the in-breath and the out-breath, but we only focus on the in-breath at the precise point we have identified. Uh, don't be tempted to follow the passages of the breath through the body. Remain focused on the inhalation and exhalation of your gentle, normal breathing at the point of contact. What does it mean? It says a few things. In this section 4, our attention continues to focus in breath and out breath, which is easy to understand. We focus the both in breath and out breath. But our focus um, is happening, putting our attention into one particular place. It means that we feel in breath and out breath somewhere tip of the nostril or at the edge of lips. Some people used to focus the abdomen, the vibration of the abdomen. I don't think there is any wrong with that. Some used to focus wherever you like, but the important thing is that you focus that place in order to focus the breath. But we should not move our attention from that focal point. Suppose that you focus the tip of the nose just to investigate the in-breath and out-breath. Don't follow the breath into the lungs. Sometimes people do it. We assume that the in-breath is coming for at least couple of inches in front of your nostril, and imagine that it comes and touch the nostril, and we follow the breath into the nose and also the lungs, and we travel behind, we tail our attention goes behind that breath. So don't do it, because your mind makes a habit to follow everything else, not only the breath but also the sounds and pictures, taste and feeling. So we are here in these meditations to end all these habitual patterns of our mind. So we don't need to make another habit in this meditation by going behind the breath. So don't be tempted to follow the passage of the breath through the body. So keep the attention near the nostril, that's it. uh, Remain focused on the inhalation and exhalation of your gentle normal breathing at the point of contact. So keep it here. So in the section 4, in breath and out breath happens and you experience it. These are the 4 sections that I would like to tell, and this is a picture how a child of one of my friends meditate on the beach. I show it to you because it's fascinating and we like it. So in order to discover inner peace through Anapanasati meditation, we need to work on that. The last, practical way of meditating on in and out breathing is for you. The fourth in section 1 we count after the one cycle of breath, and that counting goes from 1 to 10, and 10 again we come down from 10 to 1, and the section 2 we count before the one cycle up to 10, and then come down from 10 to 1. In the section 3 we stop counting but focus the both breath, and third section we strengthen that focus. Actually these 4 sections are explained in the first tetra. In other words, these four counting comes in the four stages of anapanasati. If you follow this, peace is inevitable. It is coming to you. It is guaranteed by the Buddha. So meditate at least for a couple of minutes every day, and slowly your practice become fruitful. So I think that's the end of the discussion today. Unfortunately, there is no time for us to uh, discuss your questions and inquiries, but you can have time to write them down and send them in emails. I try my best to answer before the next meeting on next Thursday. Thank you very much for listening carefully. And I wish you have time to meditate on Anapan or in and out breathing every day. Remember what the Buddha said about Anapan Sati. It is the dwelling of the Buddha. Whenever he did not do any typical things for him, for Tathagata, for the Buddha, he stays in anapanasati concentration. Again, he developed anapanasati concentration. Of course, the Buddha has developed into highest extent, but he experienced that bliss of anapan, that bliss from anapanasati. Therefore, it's called Tathagata Viharana. So, anapanasati is the dwelling of the all Buddhas. And he says that that is the divine dwelling. If you develop anapanasati and achieve peace and happiness, that is quite similar to the happiness of divine beings. And it is the noble dwelling as well. So you know what ignoble dwellings. Ignoble dwelling is living with uh, mundane things that experience through senses. But if you develop this meditation and achieve concentration, that's called noble living. So I bless you to have that noble dwelling, divine dwelling, as well as Tathagata dwellings through your practice. Thank you for listening carefully. May you be well, happy, and peaceful until we meet next Thursday, not through live streaming, but at the temple. I wish you all the blessings. Again, I would like to invite our friends and devotees who join with us live stream. Continue to join with us and enrich your practice, and try to at least to attain to a certain level of enlightenment in this very lifetime. So that's the end of the discussion of Anapanasati Sutta. You will have a new sutta, which is related to this these qualities we discuss, and you will get it very soon. Thank you very much once again. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. Let me recite an stanza to conclude this online session. Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabba rogo vinassatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. Thank you.